We are now being joined by Saad Awad. We'll begin with a few questions. Steve Jewin, your line is now live.
Saad, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. We've had many opportunities in the past, and I'm grateful that you're here and on this card. But how frustrated are you after being in Bellator for over a decade to currently be on a 4-fight losing streak?
Is that a question you really need to ask me? I mean, how frustrating do you think it is? I mean, it's always frustrating to lose one fight, shit, let alone two. But to lose four, fuck, man, it's definitely frustrating. But it's not something that I thought about this camp. I just, I always try to take one fight at a time, whether I'm winning or losing, on a winning or losing streak. So, I just got to go out there and perform and not put that pressure of being on a losing streak in my head. So that's something, like I said, I try not to think about. And just go out there and perform like I know how to perform and get back on a winning streak after I win.
Well, speaking of those camps, obviously things have changed a lot since we saw you twice in October last year. So what's the training like for you now?
Honestly, it's been the same, man. I mean, right when COVID hit, I was training before COVID hit because I was supposed to fight back in May. So I was getting ready for a fight in May, and then COVID hit, and so the cards got canceled. Everything got shut down, and I continued training at my house, just strength conditioning. And then my coach called all of us, said, listen, I'm opening the gym just for the pros. So we still trained, you know what I mean? We still trained, we got ready, and then supposed to fight last month, and like a month and a half ago, and then I caught like a viral pink eye. And it lasted like 2 weeks, so they pulled me from the card. And then right away, I jumped right back into camp, and now I'm here.
All right, one last thing from me. What do you think of Mandel Nallo as an opponent on Thursday?
I think he's a good-looking guy. I think he's tall, he's handsome. Yeah, that's what I think.
Donna? Donna, your line is now live. Okay, we'll go on to Mark. Mark, your line is now live.
Hi, Syed. My question for you is, in 2019, 2018, you were a very active fighter. It was this pandemic almost a blessing in disguise for you that you got to get some months away from the cage, or would you have rather preferred to?
No, man, I have ADD, man. I go 100 miles per hour with whatever I'm doing. If I'm at home, I'm doing a million things at home. I like to be active. I'm not a guy that's gonna sit on his couch and just let time go by. I'm fortunate enough I've been fighting for so long that, my kids, I train and I'm home with my kids. I don't have a 9-to-5, so I don't spend, 8 hours at a job. I do spend hours at the gym, but not 8 hours continuously. I'll go, come home. So, I get to spend time with my kids. So the only blessing I got out of the pandemic is, I spent a little bit more time, at home with the kids. I got to watch them grow. But fight-wise, no, man. I'm going to be active, man. I want to fight as much as I can. I'm getting older, and I want to, definitely fight out, until I can't fight anymore, until I, move on to something else. So really, I'm not happy about it, but, the world kind of got put on standstill, and it is what it is.
Thank you. And going into this one this weekend, your opponent is not like the usual guy you're used to. He, he's really young in the promotion, and do you feel almost like weird that you're being matched up with him, or? No, because it's part of it. It's part of matchmaking, You get these young guys that have a little bit of hype behind them. They come from a good gym, and then you have the guys that are veterans like me that you're like, okay, let's see if the hype matches up, and you throw him against a guy like me. And then, if he wins, then it does. And if he doesn't, then it shows that, he wasn't ready yet. And, obviously, he has a lot of, talent, and, he's definitely going to do good in his career. But, this fight's going to, it's going to be like a make or break for him, I believe. Not even a make or break, you know what I mean? God forbid, any of us get hurt. But, I think I'm definitely going to stop that, hype train that is behind him. He's a good kid, but, he has to fight me now.
Donna?
Sorry about the technical difficulties there earlier. In terms of the welterweight sort of division or the divisions you find yourselves in, what do you make of the landscape of welterweight in Bellator at the moment?
Well, I'm fighting lightweight this fight. My last
lightweight.
Fight. Oh, okay. I mean, the belt's being held by a 45-pounder. He's really good. I take nothing from him.
And he's locked up in another competition.
Yeah, exactly. So, I think once I win this fight, I'm gonna ask for whoever's the top two guys, because I want to get right back in there. You know what I mean? I don't know how much time I have left in the sport. I know I have a couple more years, but sometimes you fight once a year. Sometimes you fight 3-4 times a year. So however many times I need to fight to get back on that, back in that conversation. I still believe I'm one of the best in Bellator, and I just got to go out there and prove it. And then once I do, then hopefully the division's open back up, and that belt's on the line again.
I have two more, if you don't mind. One is, did you have any trepidation about coming back and fighting during the situation we're in at the moment? I know that cases are back on the up and things like that. Were you in any way concerned about getting back in the cage?
Not at all. Not at all, man. If you live in fear, you'll never be able to accomplish anything. You know what I mean? No matter what's going on. And that's one thing I don't do. I don't live in fear, no matter what's going on, no matter how bad the situation is for anybody. I mean, I still wake up every day. I still have my coffee. I kiss my babies. And, I go about my day, whether there's a pandemic outside or whether, everything's open. So I don't live in fear, no matter what's going on. And I'll never let something control me.
Maybe this question's been touched on before, but do you feel that this fight is make or break for you in the promotion?
I mean, it's up to the promotion. You know what I mean? I feel like I put my neck out there whenever they needed me. I never turned down a fight. I fought, I broke my ankle 2 weeks before one of my fights. This is 3 fights ago. I literally broke my ankle, bone in my ankle, and I still fought. I cut the top of my foot 5 days out before I fought Gertz, and I got stitches, but I had them put them in the inside, and I glued the top of my foot just so nobody would see it. I still fought. When I fought Benson Henderson, I tweaked my back really bad. I couldn't get off the stool when they called my name to go stage. I couldn't get off the stool. They were like, "Dude, what's wrong with you?" I was like, "My back's I heard it before this fight." So I got up. I was like an old man, but I still went out there and I fought. And I put myself out there plenty of times. And I don't plan on losing regardless. So when I win, I plan on staying with Bellator and making my run back for the title. And we'll see how it goes.
Thank you,
Lenny.
Hi, Saad. How are you?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. Before this fight, you said you envisioned an early round KO or even a 3-round war with your opponent. What type of Saad Awad can we expect to walk into the Bellator cage this weekend?
I mean, I feel like you guys always get the same one. I always fight, go out there and fight the way I know how to fight, unless my opponent runs from me. Whenever I was in, times I was in boring fights, it was either my opponent tried to wrestle me and I just, was scrambling or whatever, and then, or, that my opponent ran from me and, made it a boring fight. So I don't see Mandel running from me at all. He likes to come forward. I like to come forward. And I know his ground game's, pretty slick. So who knows? He might come and try to wrestle me and make it an interesting fight. And if so, I feel like my ground game's, pretty solid. My wrestling scrambles are really good. So I think I'll make it a 3-round war if that happens. If not, I think I can catch him. I'm sure I'm going to have to take one and give one. So you guys are going to see a good fight.
Yeah. So while we're talking about the previous fights, what have you kind of learned from your previous losses?
I don't know, man. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's there's little things. I'm pretty aggressive in some of my fights. Like when I fought Gertz, I kind of thought I won that fight. And I was aggressive. I was controlling the whole round. I did get dropped, but I came back and I still feel like I won the round. I'm like, what else could I do besides go out there and finish them? Fortunately, it's kind of hard to finish somebody that's backpedaling. But I take nothing from Gertz. He's a great guy. He's a great fighter. But I feel like, I thought I won that fight, but I just know I got to kind of put my foot on the gas pedal a little bit more in some of these fights, because it's kind of hard to win a decision these days when people kind of point fight.
Rick Sanchez.
How are you?
Great. How are you?
Good. My question is, what's your motivation going through after those 4 losses, and now you're getting yourself to fight again? So what is your motivation going through this again to fight this card?
I'll be honest with you, man. I've been doing this so long. I don't need a loss to motivate me more. If I wasn't already motivated to train as hard as I could possibly train, then you're in the wrong sport, man. Because if you didn't train as hard as you could, you go into the ring with doubts in your mind, and you go in the ring with doubts in mind, you're screwed. You know what I mean? Because once that cardio kicks in,
you get tired and you start playing tricks in your head, and you're like, I wasn't ready because I didn't train hard enough. So that's not one thing I do. I train extremely hard, whether I'm, on a 4-fight losing streak or a 4-fight winning streak. So, the only different thing I made this camp or this past year that I changed since I was on my winning streak is I'm back with my head coach. My head coach, they've known me since I was a kid, and I was on my winning streak with them. And then I kind of steered away and, kind of got, lost a couple of fights. But, I'm back with him doing my striking, my jiu-jitsu, my wrestling, but I'm still doing my conditioning with the training lab where they really excelled me with my conditioning. So I feel like you're going to get the best of me this fight.
Our final question comes from the line of Luis Morales. Go ahead, Luis.
So, Saad, there is no secret on your losing streak, but also no shame in that. You lost to Benson Henderson and Paul Daly. For this one, you're the more experienced fighter. So what's different entering this fight?
Just my experience. I mean, the difference between me and him, I believe, is my experience. I believe I'm more well-rounded. The kid's going to come to fight. He's a great striker. He hides a lot of his stuff. He's good on the ground. So I think it's going to be a great fight. And, hopefully my experience pulls me through and I get the win.
All right. Thank you very much for the time, Syed. Good luck the rest of the week.
Yep. Thank you, guys.